Every single day, more than 2.5 million Canadians eat at McDonald's. That's more than the entire population of Manitoba. For many families, fast food is no longer an occasional treat. It's routine. Breakfast before work, lunch during long commutes, dinner on nights when groceries feel too expensive or time feels too short. McDonald's publishes nutrition information because they're legally required to. But there are important details they are not required to disclose. Why identical menu items contain different ingredients depending on the country. Why certain additives banned or restricted in Europe are still used in Canadian products. And why a Big Mac in Toronto can contain ingredients that would not be allowed in London. We spent weeks comparing menus across multiple countries, reviewing regulatory standards, and analyzing supply chain records. This investigation isn't about whether fast food is healthy. Most Canadians already know the answer to that. This is about standards, regulations, and why those standards change depending on where you live. Different countries, different rules, same global company. And once you see the comparison, it's difficult to unsee. Let's start with something McDonald's Canada rarely talks about: ingredient differences between countries.
Part 1. Ingredient differences. Here's something McDonald's Canada doesn't advertise. The same menu item can be made with very different ingredients depending on where you order it. Take Chicken McNuggets. In Canada, the ingredient list includes additives such as TBHQ, a synthetic preservative, dimethyl polysiloxane, an anti-foaming agent, and multiple sodium phosphates. These ingredients are approved by Health Canada and are considered safe within regulated limits. But in the United Kingdom, the ingredient list is significantly simpler. Chicken, rapeseed oil, wheat flour, spices. No TBHQ, no dimethyl polysiloxane. So why the difference? Because the European Union restricts or discourages certain additives that Canada still allows. TBHQ, for example, is a petroleum-derived antioxidant used to extend shelf life. Dimethyl polysiloxane is a silicone-based compound used to prevent oil from foaming during frying. Both are legal in Canada. Both are used in many processed foods. But in Europe, regulators often apply what's known as the precautionary principle. Instead of asking whether an ingredient is safe within certain limits, European regulators often ask a different question. Is the ingredient necessary in the first place? That difference in philosophy leads to different ingredient lists, and Canadians are eating the difference.
Part 2. Sodium differences. But ingredients are only part of the story. When we compared sodium levels across markets, we noticed something else. A Big Mac in Canada contains roughly 970 milligrams of sodium. In the United Kingdom, the same sandwich contains slightly less. Medium fries in Canada contain around 340 milligrams. In France, the equivalent portion contains closer to 310. These differences may seem small, but they matter when multiplied across millions of meals every day. Why do the recipes change? Because McDonald's adapts products based on 3 factors. First, regulation. Many European countries have national sodium reduction targets. Second, public pressure. In the UK, public health campaigns have pushed restaurants to lower salt levels. Third, competition. In Europe, some fast food chains compete partly on health metrics. Canada has experienced far less pressure in these areas, and as a result, the recipes have changed more slowly. But sodium serves a purpose beyond taste. Higher sodium levels help preserve food, maintain consistency, and allow products to be shipped and stored more easily. That doesn't make the meals illegal, but it does explain why recipes change faster where regulators demand it.
Part 3. Pricing during inflation. Now let's look at something different: pricing. During Canada's recent inflation crisis, fast food chains made significant adjustments to their pricing strategy. We analyzed McDonald's Canada menu prices between 2019 and 2024. Here's what we found. Value menu items stayed relatively stable. Junior chicken sandwiches remained close to $3. McDouble stayed around $3.50. But regular menu items increased sharply. Big Mac meals increased by more than 30%. Quarter Pounder meals rose by similar amounts. The pattern becomes clear when you look closely. As grocery prices rise, families searching for affordable meals are drawn toward cheaper fast food options. Value menus expand, bundles appear, mobile app discounts increase. It creates the perception of affordability, but those value items often rely on more heavily processed ingredients, higher sodium levels, lower protein portions, more fillers. For families facing rising food costs, a $10 fast food meal can feel like relief, but the long-term trade-off is rarely discussed.
Part 4. Marketing to children. Next, we looked at marketing, especially marketing directed at children. In Quebec, advertising to children under 13 has been restricted since 1980. It's one of the strictest advertising laws in North America. So, how does McDonald's market Happy Meals in Quebec? Outside Quebec, advertising campaigns often feature toys, cartoon characters, and direct appeals to children. In Quebec, those elements are largely absent from television advertising. Instead, the messaging focuses on family dining. But when you walk into the restaurant, the experience looks almost identical. Bright displays, colorful packaging, toy promotions. Because Quebec's law restricts media advertising, not in-store marketing. McDonald's complies with the letter of the law,
Make that a large fry on register 3.
but the overall business model remains unchanged.
Part 5. Supply chain. Now let's talk about supply chains. McDonald's Canada often promotes its use of 100% Canadian beef and chicken. That statement is accurate, but it doesn't tell the whole story. Much of the supply comes from a small number of very large processors, facilities operated by companies such as Cargill and Maple Leaf Foods. When supply chains become this consolidated, a single disruption can affect millions of meals. Canada has experienced several major food recalls over the past decades, including one of the largest E. coli recalls in Canadian history. These events are rare, but they reveal how interconnected the system has become. When a single facility processes enormous volumes of meat, a problem at that facility can spread quickly, and consumers often learn about it only after recalls are announced.
Part 6. Is fast food actually cheaper? We also tested a common assumption. Is fast food actually cheaper than cooking at home? A typical McDonald's meal for 4 people can cost between $45 and $50. We compared that with the cost of making burgers at home. Ground beef, buns, lettuce and tomatoes, frozen fries. The grocery cost came to roughly $23 for enough ingredients to feed 4 to 6 people. Even accounting for time and convenience, home cooking remains significantly cheaper. But McDonald's is no longer competing directly with home kitchens. It's competing with time pressure, long work hours, and limited access to groceries in some neighborhoods. In certain communities, fast food becomes one of the most accessible options.
Conclusion. This investigation revealed several important patterns. First, regulatory differences matter. Canada allows certain ingredients that Europe restricts. Second, corporate strategies adapt to economic pressure. Value menus expand when inflation rises. Third, supply chains are highly consolidated, meaning disruptions can affect millions of consumers. None of this means McDonald's Canada is breaking the law. They operate within the regulations that exist, but those regulations shape the food system Canadians experience every day. The real question isn't whether fast food should exist, it's whether Canadians should have the same ingredient standards, transparency, and consumer protections seen in other parts of the world. Because once you understand how the system works, fast food stops looking simple. It starts looking strategic. And informed consumers are always better equipped to make their own choices. Stay informed, stay curious, and thanks for watching.